YouTube, what's up? It's your boy ET. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know what time it is. So I got some sad news, man. Some sad news today for the UFO community. You know, I know y'all probably heard by now. David Wilcock. They said David Wilcock has passed away. Um, so let's talk about it a little bit about the situation. They said this is coming from different reports. TMZ. Everybody's reporting on it. Pretty much. Um, I don't know, but about y'all, but I've been watching Dave Wilcox since about 2005. 2005, 2006, something up in there. You know, um, he's been on YouTube since then. That's when I first watched him. Was on YouTube. I know a lot of y'all probably know him from Ancient Aliens. When he done all kind of. He been everywhere. He been studying and researching UFOs for about 20 years. So over 20 years. So I'm not gonna go into his whole history about what he had done because everybody know already. Um, but they said a couple of days ago. I think this incident happened a couple of days ago. Let's get into what happened. So they said this happened in Boulder, Colorado. Boulder, Colorado. Okay. Um, so 911 dispatcher says they received a call early in the morning, around 10:30, 10:45 in the morning. And it sounded like the 911 caller was having a mental crisis. They couldn't really understand what they were saying. There's no audio on this yet. Nothing came out. They haven't released any audio or video on what happened. They just spoke on it and they said this is what they told, what happened. So later they went out to the scene to investigate and see what was going on with the situation. And that's when they encountered David. So they said he appeared to have some type of object in his hand. They didn't say what object. They didn't say if it was a gun, a knife, or what. Not yet. They haven't came out and said what type of object he had in his hand. They said some type of weapon. They called it a weapon. So they said some, I don't know if words was exchanged. That's why we need to see. I mean, I know the police officers probably had body cam footage. There's all kind of camera footage they haven't came out with, but he's saying something and then he just take his own life. This is that's it, just like that. So that's the story that's came out so far. They haven't came out with any other information right now, but they did say that he did pass away, and and they don't know he had some type of mental crisis. But let's talk about some reports are coming out saying that a couple of days earlier, before that week before all of this happened, rest in peace to David, and our prayers go out to his family. Let me say that. I respect David. I've been watching him for a while. Anybody in the UFO community know about David, and he introduced us to plenty with whistleblowers, a few whistleblowers. You got Corey Good. He came out with Corey Good. He introduced Corey Good to us, and that's how we know who Corey Good is. We haven't, I haven't heard anything from Corey Good, but David was saying that week before. We'll see if Corey have anything to say. But David was saying that week before he was having a hard, tough week. Some stuff was going on. As y'all know, a lot of these whistleblowers, it's a lot of them speak on getting harassed by the government, basically, harassing them, it's probably an understatement, but, being followed, being watched, being run off the road, whatever, shot at, a lot of people, how y'all feel about this? David Wilcock, right? So he seemed pretty level headed, right? You never know, people are people, everybody's, human. So you never know what somebody's going through. But so he spoke a lot on, mind control devices, which a lot of them do. A lot of whistleblowers speak on mind control devices. They said we have them. We've been having them, You know, our military have mind control devices, and they use them, right? They use them. So do y'all think maybe this was some type of attack on him mentally? You know, that they got to him, they finally got to him. But my question is, why? Like I said, he been speaking on this subject for decades. So why just now? You know, why at this time? You know, maybe you know they what? Why they wait so long to? If that was the case, you know, it's just a question that I was wondering. You know, and I had, but he said that whole week he was going through some stuff, and he didn't say exactly. He didn't say any details, but I'm just guessing. You know, maybe he was getting phone calls or being followed real heavy. You know, he had a lot going on. Um, but 2 days before he released another video interview saying that speaking on a lot of scientists and a lot of UFO researchers are coming up missing. You know, for some strange reason, they just disappearing. You know, these are very, very smart people. You know, some of the smartest people, you know, in the world, really. You know, scientists. Not all of them are just straight UFO scientists. Some of them is regular, everyday rocket scientists. You know, any other kind of scientists. You know, they're not all UFO researchers. But he was speaking on that, and then a couple of days later, this happens. So what y'all think? Do y'all think it's a connection? You know, is it because of what he was speaking on at that time, or you know, they've been trying to do this for a while? You know, this is not the first time this happened. I want y'all to know this is not the first time this happened. So it's been plenty of researchers on subjects, different subjects. You know, UFO, whatever. You know, that's come up missing or being been killed. You know, suicide. You know, they're naming this a suicidal incident. This is what they're naming it. So we waiting to see the details. You know, um, if it was a suicide, why? You know, why would David, you know, do that? You know, I know everybody is asking that question, but you know, it's just, you know, if you've been watching somebody for so long, even though you know people are they normal people, you know, it's just a shock. You know, like what? Do he know something? Did he what? Did he know something? Something he had to know something's going on. You know, because he speak on so many different subjects. You know, with they got to do with UFOs and mental, you know, abilities and all of that. Y'all know what he speak on, what he used to speak on. So you know, that's the story that's came out so far. You know, not a lot of details been released. Like I said, I know they got body cam footage. I know they got some kind of footage of, you know, and of course they got the 911 call. They didn't say exactly what he was saying. They said he was speaking like he was having a mental breakdown. So what was he saying? To y'all, it sounded like a mental breakdown. But we want to know what he was saying. So yeah, get in the comment section. Y'all let me know about that situation with David. Like I said, rest in peace to David, man. Um, you know, I'm pretty sure it's a we'll see what happened with everybody else because it's a big name. You know, David Wilcock is a big name in the UFO community. So hopefully, you know, they're probably trying to scare all the rest of them. You know, letting them know y'all better not say nothing. You know, but if y'all think that's the situation, let me know in the comment section. But so I start anyway. Let me get into a little research I was doing. I started doing a little research when I heard about all these scientists and UFO researchers that came coming up missing. You know, and I know that can happen. You know, it's a lot of people. You know, stuff happen all the time with people coming up missing. You know, getting kidnapped. You know, and stuff just happens to people sometimes. So I just did a little research that I found out, and this is what I found out about scientists and UFO researchers that have come up missing. You know, and he was telling the truth. You know, in the past 2 years. So I didn't go back far. I didn't. I did. I went back just 2 years. You know, most recent. You know, between 2023 and you know now. You know how many scientists. You know, I found out a few. You know, we got I just to name a few. I'm not gonna talk about all the details or nothing like that. I'm just gonna name a couple of them and where they worked. You know, so first we got William Neal. He's a retired U.S. Air Force general. He was a retired U.S. Air Force general. He's missing. You know, they haven't found anything on him. They haven't located any remains. Nothing. He's just missing. He's missing from New Mexico. Disappeared in February 2026. You know, and he was a direct. He spoke on UFO information. You know, he had indirect ties to UFO researchers and disclosures and discussions and all of that. So that was in 2026 of this year. Monica Rizza, she was a rocket scientist. She's missing, you know, from National Forest in California, you know, Angels National Forest. In June 2025, vanished while hiking, never found. She was a rocket scientist. Monica Rizza, in June 2025, vanished while hiking. A lot of people vanish by hiking. We'll get into one of those episodes later. Y'all, you know, it's because I want to speak on some of that. These people vanishing from the forest while they're hiking and never found. No remains, never found. Cadaver dogs can't find nothing. No scent, no trail. They lose the scent. You know, I know our boy David Politis speak on this a lot. Shout out to David Politis, but I don't know. It's just it just don't make sense to me sometimes when they can't find nothing, no remains. A dog, y'all know dogs, right? I got 2 dogs. They have very, very sensitive. They can smell anything. Cadaver dogs can sniff out a body remains if it's any kind of hint of it. You know, they gonna find it. But anyway, so she went missing in the national forest in 2025. You got Michael Hicks. He's a NASA jet propulsion scientist. They found his remains. He's pronounced dead. Location was in California, July 2023. The cause of death has not been disclosed. They didn't release the cause of death. You got Jason Thomas, to name a couple of more. Just a couple of more, y'all. I'm gonna name it. It's probably plenty more. I'm just naming a few of them because since he's, you know, that's what David was speaking on, you know, before this incident, you know. So I just try, you know, look it up and see, you know. We got one more, Jason Thomas, researcher. He's missing. He was later found dead in Massachusetts. It don't even give him the exact date, but it's say between 2025 and 2026. Just strange, you know. It's like they found it, you know. They no information released on what happened to these people, you know. And I know that happened to normal people too. You know, they don't always know the cause of death. They don't always know, you know, it's depending on how long, you know, it took to find the remains. I know all of that. So they're not always gonna have exact information on everything. I know that. But a lot of these are just unsolved. You got Steve Garcia. He's a government contractor. He's missing since 2025. They can't find him. Joshua LeBlanc. He's a NASA nuclear engineer. He was pronounced dead. He died in Huntsville, Alabama, 2025. You know, maybe you know, I just need to do a little more research in each situation, but a lot of them seem like they're just unsolved. You know, they're missing. You know, a lot of them was found, but months later. So they don't know exactly what happened to these people. So, you know, it is kind of strange. A lot of physicists, you know, engineers, you know, coming up missing. You know, my question is, are they taking these people somewhere? What y'all think? Are they taking these people underground, off world, to another planet? Got them working on a whole something they can't let anybody know about. They got them working on some type of project, secret project, top secret project. You know, they're missing. They didn't find any remains, just missing. A lot of people believe these people were taken underground. off planet to work on different things, you know. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, you know. But it is very strange. But be coming back at y'all with another video. I just want to make this video because the news that broke on David Wilcock, and I've been watching him forever. So rest in peace to David, man, and you know, prayers go out to his family. I hope they find out what's going on, you know. So we'll get to hopefully they'll release some of that information later. But like I said, appreciate y'all, man, watching the channel, man. Y'all know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll be coming back at y'all with another video. And if there's any updates or if I forgot some, anybody find out any other information about this situation, man, put it in the comments section. You know, everybody want to know. This channel is about UFOs. That's what we want to know about. You know, this has happened to be something that happened in the UFO community. So this is a big event, you know, a very strange situation. So yeah, I'll just leave in the comments section what y'all think about it. And you know, maybe later this week I'll go live, man, for some more information that's dropped, you know. But y'all know what to do. It's your boy E.T. See y'all in the next video.